Continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Mia Farrow as Allison Mackenzie, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington.
Chris Webber had intended to greet the morning somewhere far away from Peyton Place and far away from his brother Lee. But as the dawn breaks, he finds himself walking down the familiar path to the Webber house once again with Lee at his side. Lee has spent the night convincing Chris to keep silent about the circumstances surrounding the fall that blinded him.
Have you been?
We've been walking.
Why didn't you call me? I didn't know what happened.
Nothing happened.
You were gone all night.
Well, we had a lot to talk about, didn't we, Chris? Any coffee?
On the stove.
How about some coffee, Chris?
No, thanks. I think I'll stay out here a few minutes.
Okay.
Chris?
Yeah.
Are you all right?
Sure, everything's fine.
Where did you go? You went on the bluff, didn't you?
Yes, I went on the bluff.
Will you promise me something?
Sure, why not? Promises are easy.
Please, please don't ever do anything dumb.
Well, it's a little late to promise that, isn't it?
You know what I mean. I mean like going up on the bluff. Why did you go up there? Chris? Don't shut me out.
Look, Lee and I walked the beach half the night. I'm tired.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get on your nerves. It's just that I sat up all night not knowing where you were or what happened.
I'm sorry, Sandy.
The way Lee tore out of here after you, well, I'm just glad you're all right.
I didn't mean to shut you out.
Chris, you're special. And I care what happens to you.
Well, that means a lot, but right now I don't feel very special. Last night up on the bluff, I heard the sea crashing over the rocks. I might as well have died when I fell down there. I mean it, I might as well have died. Chris Webber, scholar, sensitive artist to the keyboard. Musician with soul. If I had a soul, it died 17 years ago. I buried it when I buried the truth. And last night I said the final rites when I promised Lee that from now on it's strictly a family matter. Well, the case is closed. No more testimony on the subject.
Hey, kid, I unpacked your suitcase. Sure you don't want any coffee?
No, thanks. I think I'll go lay down for a while.
Hey, it looks like we're together again, huh, Chris?
Sure, Lee. We're together.
What are you looking at?
Nothing.
Morning.
Morning.
I got a steamer trunk here for Miss Ann Howard.
Yes, I'm Ann Howard.
Oh, would you sign here, please?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, you didn't have to go through all this trouble.
Trouble?
I mean, spending all of your hard-earned dough moving a trunk. You could have gotten one of your friends to help you. I would have been glad to help you myself. Dig?
Oh, look out. Could you, please be a little more careful of that?
Come on, Lee. This thing weighs a ton. What do you got in here, cast iron?
No.
Just 60 years of a man's life.
Morning. I'm Lee Weber.
Yes, I know. Hope you like the pen.
It's not bad. As a matter of fact, I'm impressed by your whole setup here, Mr. Harrington. I told the old guy down there at the gate that I had an appointment to see you, and your secretary isn't here, so...
Something wrong at the garage?
That depends on how you look at things.
What do you mean?
Well, you see, Mr. Harrington, your son and me, we had a little disagreement.
Then you're no longer working at the garage.
No, sir.
I see. Well, I guess things haven't changed that much since I was your age. A good paying job is always hard to find. But I take it you found out that Rodney's a very independent thinker. I'm sorry, there's no way I can intercede for you.
I didn't ask you to do that.
You didn't come here just to chat, did you?
You know, before my old man died, I remember him pointing you out to me as an example of how to get ahead. He told me how you worked on the docks in the mill, how you ended up in the Peyton mansion. Well, I have to admit it, I'm a little bit disappointed that Mr. Peyton doesn't have more daughters to romance. But I figure that there's got to be more than one way to skin a cat, right?
That depends on the cat. What is it you want?
Well, you've got a lot of machines around here. I thought maybe you could use a good man to watch over things. You see, I figure for a guy like me to get up on the top, he's got to start there.
Sorry, Lee, I don't play the game that way.
Listen, I've got to go out and find a new job because your son didn't have the privacy that he needed. Now, that's not what I call playing a game, Mr. Harrington.
Just a minute. Tell me about Rodney's privacy, as you put it.
Look, Mr. Harrington, if I've bugged you, I'm sorry. But it's not important now.
I'll decide that.
Well, I was just a little bit sore about why Rod fired me.
Why did he?
I walked in on him and Stephen Cord's wife. Now, I shut my mouth off. Anyhow, I told him what I thought about it. About how I would feel if somebody was fooling around with my wife. And we had a fight.
Have you mentioned this to anyone else?
No, why should I? It's his life. It looks like he's going to live it the way he wants to.
All right, Lee, you put the poison in my ear. You can go now.
Now, wait a minute. Now, you've got things a little mixed up. I've got one reason why I'm here. I've got a wife to support. And I've got a brother that for 17 years has been blind, and I've been putting him through school. Now, I need a job.
And you thought I'd give you one if I didn't like the sordid little story you told me about my son.
I didn't tell you a story about your son, Mr. Harrington. I told you the truth. Now, you asked me to tell you. I didn't ask you to believe me.
That's right, you didn't. You just hoped I would.
You're wrong, Mr. Harrington. I only hoped that you would be a better man than your son. Now, telling tales on Junior isn't my way of getting even. But if it comes down to that, well, I've got better ways.
Hi, Stephen.
Hello, Ann.
I'm keeping the greeting card department up to date. Need any belated 4th of July greetings?
No, thanks.
Oh, it's too early for Labor Day. Anybody's birthday?
Can't think of a soul. Is Allison around?
No, she's having coffee at the drugstore. Would you like me to give her a call?
Oh, don't bother. I'll go down there. Anne, I'd like to apologize. I was rude yesterday. Well, much more than that. Unforgivable.
Oh, you don't have to, Stephen. You had other things on your mind. You're right, you know. I'm not your only client.
I've never treated you as just a client. You're more than that. You're a friend.
You're forgiven. And, your problem, has it, worked out yet?
Not yet.
My offer to help still stands.
Well, that's very tempting, but it's just something I'll have to deal with myself. Did you get your father's trunk?
Oh, yes, it came this morning. I had to, hurry to work, though, so I haven't opened it yet.
Well, you asked me if I wanted to go through it with you. May I change my mind?
Oh, please, I'd like that.
Then I'll drop by tonight.
Good. Frankly, I'm a little scared to open it alone.
Anne, I don't want to get your hopes up, but I found out something that could be important.
Oh?
As soon as I know something, you'll hear from me. And Anne, thanks for your concern over my problem.
I'm not kidding. I guess if I can tell what a person wants for lunch before they even order it.
So, a serious businessman would order...
Ham on rye, coffee black. Oh, and the other day a lady came in. I'd never seen her before in my life, and I started making the chicken broth before she even ordered it. Guess what she ordered?
Chicken broth.
Allison?
Hello, Stephen.
Rita?
Hi, Stephen. Coffee?
Black.
See what I mean?
Allison, I'd like to talk to you.
Okay.
It was a mistake to tell my father.
It wasn't a mistake.
I broke a promise Chris told me in confidence.
Thanks, Rita.
I knew he'd tell somebody.
That's what you wanted him to do, isn't it?
I suppose so. I suppose I didn't have the courage to come to you myself.
Allison, you owe it to Anne. We all do. To let her know the truth. She's suffered enough.
Still, Chris trusted me. He thought I was his friend.
No, Allison, so many people have made that mistake, thinking they were protecting someone.
I'm scared what'll happen to Chris now.
I have a theory. You said Chris told you Anne didn't cause his accident. No doubts at all, isn't that so? Well, I think he told you because he wanted you to tell me. Or Anne. Not consciously, perhaps. Consciously, that would be a betrayal for him, too. Because we both know he's protecting someone. Someone very close to him. But Chris knew he had to take the burden off Anne's shoulders.
And he couldn't tell her himself, so he told me.
That's right. That's what I think. It's because he did trust you that he told you. Now, I need your permission before I can take the next step. Do I have your permission? Thank you. I'm afraid I would have gone ahead anyway.